Now we're stuck on this stupid tower in the middle of nowhere. And I don't blame you, and now we're stuck on this stupid freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere. And it's all my fault.
軽蔑してるよね。仕方ないよ。
Y es todo por mi culpa.
Oh, welcome. I hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know if anybody's even listening or like these voices in the background. Makes them feel virtually not alone. You know? Your host, General Griswold Gaius, member of the First Blood Regression Protocol and a member of the Fraternal Regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy. On behalf of the Sacred Order of Fluid Transparency, I say hello! I see this as with the film. We have some all-stars in the hive mind today. Hive mind today. Hive mind today. Hive mind today. Hive mind today.
Shake it up is all that we know. Using the bodies up as we go. I'm waking up to fantasies. The shades all around aren't the colors we used to see. Broken ice still melts in the sun, and times that are broken can often be won again. We're so alone, and so really matters to me. Take a look around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head. Hey, we're so out of touch. We're still occasionally doing Out of Touch Thursdays. This one, Look Here, Not There, for Thursday, the 17th prime of 2024 October. Buried Land Management. Look Here, Not There. Welcome, everybody, to a throwback Thursday, Out of Touch Thursday. What?
Products division. She has to know where to get in touch with me. I told her months ago. So all I said was, Liz, I'm doing some work with the FBI. I might be out of touch for a while. How's that song go?
Okay, now we're doing a stream. We're going to give you savings throws against mind control. I hope you know how that goes. It's pretty powerful on Thursdays. You get to pick between survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Get your bonuses and hope it's over 10. What, kayfabe? What? What do you want? Choose! Survivalist coming in strong with a pair of chakras worth 14. 14 for you. Also pairing it up with them. The socialist also with the 14. Lovers of wisdom. Get a bonus because that's number 9. Heart folks, you got that two of you. 8 chambers worth. 8. And indigo kids. Trinity. Man, you guys haven't 20'd in a while. You haven't 20'd in a while. And it.
Although this world will devastate you, and rejoice although this world will penetrate you, and rejoice although you will not survive. Rejoice you'll never make it out alive.
Excellent rehearsal, gentlemen.
And rejoice your hair, it smells like burning hair. Oh, rejoice, your nails all got chewed off. Oh, rejoice, and holy fuck, you're bleeding there. Oh, rejoice, you burn your whole beard off. Rejoice, despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice, despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best.
Hey, I love that one. That's gorgeous. Thank you, brother. Wait, who's that brother?
Well, meanwhile, while I was trying to shovel, the casino deck card of the show jumped out. It's a deuce. A deuce of clubs. Welcome, everybody. I still want to shuffle it some more. Grab a different deck. Fine. Welcome. It's the I don't have many YouTube clips to play for this one, but it's gonna be fun. Hey, Chad the Girl Dad. Ahoy, even. Ahoy. Canadian deck card for the show. Your lovely neighbors to the north is the 5 of clubs. Wow, they're coming out fast. You better do something else. I was sitting with my phone. Now I'm virtually not alone. Now, it's been a minute, and normally we organically find a reason to connect with Merriam, but there's the secret message of the day over at merriam-webster.com that we like to hit on Thursdays, and I brought up the word
covenant.
In salute to yesterday's stream, covenant questions, which I should have brought it up. It's a usually formal, solemn, and binding agreement, written or otherwise, a contract or a pledge. And now, the word of the day secret messages, starting with
Fugacious.
That's a formal word that describes something that lasts only a short time, like me in these live streams, maybe. It's
Fugacious.
to think that no. The way this works, when we get the secret message, we get the word of the day, the last 5 or so, and then do the decoding ourselves. The first word being fugacious. Click harder. There. What, did you click twice? No. Second word.
Exact.
To exact something, such as payment or revenge, means to demand and to get it. And
rendition.
It simply put is the act or result of rendering something. That thing may be a performance or interpretation, a depiction, or a translation. In US law, rendition refers to the surrender by a state of a fugitive to another state that is charging the fugitive with the crime.
Rendition.
Wow. What was fugacious again?
Fugacious.
That's what it was. All right, and then
Taciturn.
which is formal, tends to be quiet.
Ideate.
To form an idea or conception of something.
Ideate.
The taciturn ideate exacted his rendition fugaciously.
You were in here last Thursday.
Thursday? Who do you think I am?
Are you sure this isn't a test?
No, this is not a test.
You're Mr. Durden.
You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around.
No, I was dumber than that. Something like.
All right. This title and thumbnail. Hey, Rojo, it's really good to see you. It's a buried land management and this looky here, not there thing. It's not really a fun one. What happened was, I trolled Glenn Beck a little, and then somebody liked my trolling, and I clicked through to see who liked it, and I found this fella named with the wonderful Twitter X handle of at only the dead know, and it turns out that that's one Jack Thompson, Team Humanity, and he had this thing here, which is the Biden-Harris administration finalizes strategy to guide balanced management, conservation of public lands. The rule from the Interior Department's Bureau of Land Management, which is the Bureau of Land Management, is that they have bureaus in the government from time to time, and there's one that involves the management of land, and that just set me off on the whole trigger thing. Hey, 5 of spades for the agency deck card of the show about how if you wanted to look up stuff that the Bureau of Land Management did up until a few years ago, you probably would have just typed in the BLM and search. And what happened was the workings and like the search results for such a thing were buried almost intentionally, perhaps, as a way of controlling the flow of information to make you look here at the Black Matter movement and not there at the land management movement, where they're doing such beautiful things as SEC, NAC, NACs are their ultimate goal. And I'm going to at least find you a little Whitney Webb on that. So here's...
It's very evolution, it's a ball.
No, T-Grog, I can go anywhere you want in the whole realm of human knowledge. I'm happy to go there with you. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm just saying, why doesn't your position collapse into agnosticism or
because I don't require someone to hand me a system in order to test it. I don't feel like I have to be given a system in order to test everything. I feel like I've been given everything I need, and I'm attuning that system, which is me, the instrument that I am.
How about your intuitions?
No, I have measurement tools. My body is enormously calibrated to measure things. Yeah.
And can your body measurements be
anywhere
wrong?
you want in the whole realm of human knowledge? I'm happy to go there with you. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm just saying, why doesn't your position collapse into agnosticism or
because I don't require someone to hand me a system in order to test it. I don't feel like I have to be given a system in order to test everything. I feel like I've been given everything I need, and I'm attuning that system, which is me, the instrument that I am.
Such your intuitions.
No, I have measurement tools. My body is enormously calibrated to measure things. Yeah.
And could your body measurements be wrong?
Particularly, it was the notion of a union with Christ, and I'm talking about a participatory ontological union.
Okay, very interesting.
That's
just to interrupt briefly. Where's the bifurcation point? Like, where does it go? Where does it go from what you like? You said there's a pivot point at which it moves away and loses touch. Where's that happening, and why did it happen?
Dadgummit.
Well, Frank knew you were in touch. I wasn't in touch.
You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around.
How does this song go?
Now, this particular topic is a little sensitive for me because it's one of the stories that an agent that we lost along the way was working on right before she got lost along the way. unfortunately, I couldn't find the Whitney Webb part of it that talking about these natural asset classes, which is what homeboy Jack Thompson is sharing about, and what the New York Times is up to, or the New York Stock Exchange is up to. But here's from her appearance on Glenn Beck on how the elites will create a new class of slaves, and I think it's about how the
where we've all been upgraded. We're all part of the internet.
Upgraded.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think that's the intention. That's how they're selling it to people. If you look at this, for example, the British Eugenics Society, where a lot of this came from, you look at someone like H.G. Wells, best known as a science fiction writer, but also a avowed eugenicist. He predicted that in 100 to 200 years, there would be two human races. There would be the upgraded, augmented elite who were intellectual and attractive and, you know, were the ones that did everything. And then a dwarf-like, troll-like, squat underclass that eats bugs. And, you know, for people that have been paying attention, it seems like, you know, they're selling this as one way. It's all going to be a utopian thing if we all upgrade. I mean, that's how it's being framed, right? But if you look at how these people think, they don't want that. They're looking at feudalism and how do you create a class of slaves that cannot even cognitively rebel ever again.
It is why
we like it. Oh wait, go ahead, Glenn.
I mean, you know, these teachers unions said, "Oh, we care about, you know, minorities and everything else." They did more damage to a whole generation of minorities more than they did white kids.
In
but
general.
They put kids in general.
Wow, that's some bleak shit. Yes, it's a bleak episode because we've been out of touch, paying attention to the wrong things, perhaps, or less dangerous. Whichever. Click the thing. Just click a thing. Remember, everybody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
You know, the way it is, we're totally isolated. I mean, we're completely out of touch with what's happening.
You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around.
How does this song go?
All right, so maybe I'll just read Jack's thing over here. Right? Oh, way up there. Maybe I'll just read Jack's thing and see if it makes sense to you more than I do. They monetize the environment, which will increase land value, which will lead to the greatest private land grab in history through the unrealized gains mechanism and more. Self-regulatory organizations. The New York Stock Exchange noticed a filing of proposed rule change. The stock exchange wanted to change the rules to amend the listed company manual to adopt listing standards of natural asset companies. The exchange proposes to amend these and other benefits derived from ecosystems are called economic services. Those are magic words. And in aggregate, economists estimate their value at more than what. So what it is, though, really, is they're going to privatize the land for the sake of the climate and then sell carbon credits and let you do things to the land. And if you're already on the land, it's going to be remarkably inconvenient for you. Remarkably. But then...
Branded, marked with a coward shame. What do you do when you're branded? Will you fight for your name?
This is what's happening, which is so funny in the world to me. When you sort of have these hidebound conservatives.
Well, then everyone loses their minds.
I'm looking like the Joker here. The bees are doing this and the squirrels are doing this, and you know the squirrels don't get together and sort of have a meeting and say, Well, it's who's been like leaving little scratch marks on the roots to let us know exactly how many days that are. The squirrels aren't doing that. There's no, Department of Centralized Squirrel Intelligence that is sort of monitoring all of this. And
people are remarkably calm, and obviously I'm not saying we all have to lose our minds, but it is interesting. People are very disconnected. People are like, wild times. Like, that's the most you're getting out of normies about any of this. They're like, wild times. Wild times out there. And you're like, well, maybe this requires more analysis than that. Well, there's some wild times happening. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the only thing you should say about it. They're all just showing up. Hopefully none of this is a plot, none of it's coordinated, none of these people are... I'm hoping that that's the case. That would be lovely. They used to put so much work into lying to it. Now there's no work being put into the lies. That should offend you the most. It's really amazing that they don't put any work into the lying. They don't put any work into the fucking lying anymore. Man, they used to really come up with fucking good lies. It would take years and journalists to unravel these lies. Move on.
Oh, hey, a new donation from Netherlands. That means I get to write the name on the board. I don't know if you can see, but I'm writing names on the board now for people who are supporting our current efforts to exist. Maybe if the lighting was different, they'd be legible, readable. All I have left for today's show, however, which is the, what are we calling it? The BLM, but no, the, buried land management is look here, not there, is that I ran over to our good friend ChatGPT and said what's the history of Title IX and consult here, start, lady, start.
Title IX. Title IX is a section of the Education Amendments of 1972 and was signed into law by President Richard Nixon. Its primary purpose is to prohibit sex-based discrimination in any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. The origin of Title IX is tied to the broader movement for gender equality in the United States, particularly during the civil rights era. Women's rights activists in the 1960s and 1970s were fighting for equal opportunities in all aspects of life, including education. A significant motivator for Title IX was the disparity in educational opportunities, especially in sports, where women were often denied equal access, funding, and facilities compared to men. The law was introduced by US Senator Birch Bayh of
So once upon a time, in 1972-ish, there was this Title IX thing that said, hey, the girls should get to play sports and also have their own bathrooms. And then I asked it to, what do you call it? I'd like an inversion of the spirit of the law, and 20 years later, and it gave me this. Do it. It's way down here, man. You zoomed in way too much. But then they can read it.
In this alternate history, the inversion of Title IX creates a societal landscape where, rather than protecting individuals from sex-based discrimination, the law is twisted to enforce a broad state-mandated interpretation of gender equality that leads to a disturbing unintended consequence. Adult men freely entering spaces traditionally reserved for women, such as girls' bathrooms and locker rooms, under the guise of equity. Premise: a twisted notion of equality. Over time, the spirit of Title IX is corrupted by the idea that to truly achieve gender equality, all gendered spaces must be entirely dissolved. In this society, equity is redefined to mean that any distinctions based on sex or gender are seen as inherently discriminatory. As a result, any laws or regulations segregating spaces based on sex, such as bathrooms, locker rooms, or sports teams, are abolished. Key elements of the corruption: 1. Abolishment of gendered spaces. Under this inverted Title IX, the government mandates the removal of all gender-segregated spaces, including bathrooms, locker rooms, and sports facilities. The law views gender-specific spaces as inherently unequal and discriminatory, so schools and public institutions are forced to integrate them completely. As a result, adult men and boys can freely access bathrooms and locker rooms designed for women and girls, claiming equity as their justification. 2. Exploitation of gender neutrality. The twisted interpretation
yes,
of
I know
Title
that.
IX
Shut
leads
up.
to loopholes
Stop.
exploited by
Quit it
those
for a
with ill
second.
intentions. In this society, adult men can enter girls' bathrooms under the pretense.
Yes. See, it's really hard. I was aiming for it to describe the present. You see, but let's go over the. I finalized it with 20 years later, but worse. And the key features are the total erasure of gender boundaries because they're fluid. It's the state-sanctioned exploitation, and the normalization of predation. What began as a loophole has evolved into a culture of institutionalized predation, government-enforced re-education, gender dissolution camps, and economic and political collapse, as well as a culture of fear and silence. There's an underground resistance. So, they're not all winners. This has been the out of touch version of buried land management. Look here, not there. I hope you felt virtually not alone, and liked and shared and subscribed.